Hello, I'm BMillzebub, and welcome to my channel. So here we are at part 3 of An Atheist Reacts to the Passion of the Christ. Just to remind you where we left off, Jesus got kicked back and forth between Pilate and Herod to try and deflect responsibility from Pilate. We saw the torture of Jesus, where most of the torture porn comparison comes from, and his subsequent dragging off of the beating area, whatever it's called. So let's get back to the movie. Alright, let's get into it. Still no sound. I really hate Icon. I'm sure they have other good movies, but I'm kind of pissed at them. But now Mary and Mary Magdalene are walking onto the area where Jesus just got his ass beat. And for some reason, Jesus' mom takes the towels that Pilate's wife gave her, and she's cleaning up the blood. I don't know why. Like, what good could that possibly do? He's not going to use it. All you're doing is making Centurion's jobs easier. Oh, now for the crown of thorns. And now putting a wool cloth on his wounds and smacking his head with a reed. And then Mary Magdalene joins in cleaning the stones. They still don't understand why. Jesus draws a line in the sand. In front of Pharisees for some reason. And writes stuff. And the Pharisees throw stones at him. Like, toward him, not actually at him. Just freaking weird. Oh yeah, this is a Mary Magdalene flashback. You know, for being a prostitute, probably did alright for herself. She looks beaten to hell. And they really portrayed the Centurions as douchebags. I mean, they probably were. I don't know that much about Roman history, but... So now Pilate presents Jesus back to the people. And despite seeing the final product that they couldn't witness themselves, the high priest says, "Crucify him." And the Jews, who historically did not much care for Caesar, are saying, "We have no king but Caesar." Okay, man. Pilate says, "I can either crucify you or set you free." And Jesus is like, "You don't have power over me." Wow, Pilate really looks impotent in this. The high priest just said, "If you don't crucify him, you're no friend of Caesar's." And now a fight's breaking out along the front line between all the Jews and the Centurion guards. And Pilate's famous, "I wash my hands of this." Of course, another flashback. I'm assuming that's meant to be the Last Supper. I don't know. It is you who want to crucify him, not I. Look you to it. I am innocent of this man's blood. And his wife is disappointed. Now, like I said, I'm not a big expert on Roman history or culture, but I don't think it was common practice to make people who were condemned to crucifixion carry crosses. I'm pretty sure it would have been easier to just leave the crosses where they were. Take them out of the ground when they were going to crucify him, throw the old body off, because let's face it, how likely are people like that to get a respectful burial? Put a new person up and let them hang for however long it takes them to die. For those of you watching at home with me, are you seeing the look of absolute hatred on a lot of the faces of the Jews towards Jesus? I mean, seriously, it's ridiculous. I honestly do think this is just meant to be like some anti-Semitic work of art, and I hate to call it art, but it's, I guess, kind of what it is. You don't have to like something for it to be art. And one of the centurions knocks Jesus over. You know, because that'll speed up the process by slowing it down. And now they're whipping him again. On his still fresh wounds. And the bloodlust they portrayed the centurions with is just stunning. And he's carrying the cross and they're whipping him along the way. I mean, they just grotesquely overblew what it actually would have been under the massive presumption that Jesus ever existed at all. Jesus falls down again. Probably got knocked down. I was just looking at my phone, if I'm being honest. So as a little boy, Jesus trips once and his mother flips the fuck out. It's a reasonable reaction. I highly doubt that mothers were that overprotective back then. Maybe a little bit of that today, but like, I mean, that reaction of freaking out is perfectly understandable in a mother. See, mother, I make all things new. Are you serious? It's crucifixion, dude. It's not going to change. It's still torture. It's a really torturous form of the death penalty. You're not making shit new. of the guards ask who that is, and another one says that's his mother. I don't know why that would matter to either of them. Yes, take that through a market where people are selling food. Because something you definitely want is blood, spit, potentially vomit all over food. You can't sell it any. Well, they probably would have just rinsed it off back then, but today it definitely wouldn't get sold. I don't know who those girls are. Maybe people that just don't like the death penalty. And then Pilate's just watching the whole parade. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Jesus only fall 3 times? According to all 4 Gospels, one of the few points they agree on. This is the 4th time he's fallen already. So Abinader, or Abinader, whatever his name is, the guard Pilate trusts, tells another centurion to have someone else pick up the cross because apparently Jesus can't go on. So the centurion he gave the order to picks a father out of the crowd. Because, you know, there aren't people in the crowd that are not parents. And he whines about being an innocent man, being forced to help a condemned man carry the cross. And I guess I don't exactly blame him. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that either. The man who was told to help Jesus carry the cross has a look of disgust on his face. All right. I'm sure that look won't change by the end. I'm nudging you because I'm pretty sure it does. And now Jesus falls a 5th time. When I feel quite certain it was only 3. I still don't know who those girls are. But it's kind of the one to take him a cup of water. And she just walks straight through the guards, who somehow don't notice her. "Permit me, my lord," and she gives him the cowl over her head so he can wipe his face off. And then she kisses it. Right on. And there it is. Centurion kicks away the cup of water. And the Jews start beating on him while he's laying on the ground. And there's the change. Starts telling the people that were beating up on him to stop. And now he's telling the guards that if they keep up their shitty behavior, he's going to stop carrying the cross, and he doesn't care what they do to him. I'm sure you guys heard that cat screaming in the background. That is the one female cat we have. And she likes to pick a fight with the boy cats. Every opportunity she gets. Oh look, they're carrying the cross again. But no, she'll just sit right at the doorway while it's open. And there went my phone. She'll sit at the doorway while it's open, and she'll just wait for one of the other cats to walk by, and then she'll start a fight with them. It's really annoying. Now they get to, I can't remember the name of the cliff. At least some of the centurions are already there putting up the main beam, you know, the one that goes straight up and down that you put the cross beam over. And he falls over a 6th time. You know, just from blood loss, Jesus would already be dead. I mean, first from the scourging he got, and from his wounds being constantly ripped back open from the wool cloth he's being forced to wear. And we're flashing back to the Sermon on the Mount. Right on. Love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. If only Christians actually took that attitude. They don't. At least not in my experience. Particularly not fundamentalists. Back to the Sermon on the Mount. I'm the good shepherd and all that. As he looks at the Pharisees. And he falls for a 7th time. They're doing an awful lot of exaggerating in this movie. And they shove away the dude who helped Jesus, and they give him a whipping. For good measure, I guess. And now he's got a long walk back to town to pick up his daughter where he left her, where he started helping carry the cross. And he looks back and starts crying. It's probably like the 5th time we've seen that centurion say we haven't got all day on screen. And yet he's the one that, knocked Jesus down one of the times. He was one of the most active in whipping him. Assuming I'm remembering the right one. Which I think I am, but, I could always be wrong. This is definitely a flashback to the Last Supper. I'll be right back. Okay, so we left off at the Last Supper flashback, and now they literally tear the cloak off of him. So any wounds that weren't reopened by the cloth are now. Now he's crawling over to the cross to lay down on it. Then another Last Supper flashback. It's like for different segments of this movie, Mel Gibson got obsessed with different things. Like when Jesus was being arrested, he was obsessed with slow motion. Then the whipping and scourging, he was obsessed with the violence of that. And now, throughout this entire, carrying the cross segment, he's been obsessed with flashbacks. It's like for each act of the movie, he's got a new obsession. And now they're putting nails through his hands right here, which would never have worked. If they would have put it anywhere, it would have been right up here, because there's a split in your bone, which would actually hold the weight. Otherwise, the nail would just rip straight through. There's nothing here except meat and tendons, and that will eventually get worn through, but this, you're going to have to work a lot harder to break through a bone. I think we're actually going to stop on a Last Supper flashback. So, yeah, that's about as good a place as any to stop. Alright, that'll do it for this one. Be sure to catch part 4, which will be coming out next Monday. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and click the notification bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, linked below, to keep up with all my comings and goings. Take it easy, everyone, and I'll see you all in the next one.